Hey, what's up? Mark here from WayCoolNews.net, and welcome to another very exciting toy review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Mattel's brand new Movie Masters Dark Knight Rises figures, starting with Batman. Featured at the top of the packaging is a sort of shattered Batman logo, alongside the Dark Knight Rises title. Batman comes housed inside a blister bubble that remarkably replicates spikes from Batman's armor gauntlets, as well as that sort of meshy material that is seen throughout Batman's body armor. At the bottom of the packaging, we see that the figure is a part of the Movie Masters line, as well as Batman's name and a widening ray of light that exclaims that a Collect and Connect piece is included with this figure, and it is a part of that buildable bat signal projector. On the back of the packaging comes a guide/checklist that highlights each Collect and Connect piece, showcasing the overall bat signal construct. Alongside that, we see our Batman figure, as well as Bane and Alfred, who are also a part of this first wave of DKR figures. Batman's suit of armor is nothing out of the ordinary. In fact, it is actually the same figure that we saw from the Batman Legacy 2-pack he came in with the Joker as the police honor guard. Not to completely sell the figure short, there has been a minor adjustment to the paint job. This version, although utilizing the same sculpt, the more standout pieces of the armor have been given a coat of gloss. This can be seen in the gauntlets, Batman logo on the chest, and the boots. Previously, the belt was a lighter gold color, whereas now it comes off as a combination between a dark gold or almost brown. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the articulation for Batman here. Starting with the head, we get a full 360 degrees rotation. Utilizing the ball joint underneath here, you can get a little bit of a tilt up and down, a little bit of a nod, more down than up. Obviously the head and the neck contact kind of hinders him doing any upward motion, but you can get a little bit of a left and a right tilt. At the shoulder here, this armor at the top definitely hinders his outward motion, so you can get it about yay high, not even parallel to the floor. You can do a full rotation around though, and a bend at the elbow here. It's single jointed, so you can't do a whole lot of thing as far as dynamic posing goes. I've seen some images from the film where he's fighting Bane at the top of the steps of the courthouse, it looks like, and he had a pretty tight bend, right here when he was throwing an elbow towards Bane, but that's a little difficult to recreate stuff like that with such a limited range of motion. As far as the wrist goes, you get a full rotation all the way around right here, full swivel, no bend. Now at the torso here, you get a little ab crunch area going on right here. You get an ab crunch, but the range of motion for it is a little limited. I mean, if you can take a look at that, you can go up and down, but there's not a whole lot you can do with it, really. I mean, once you try to lean back with it, it has a tendency to kind of want to spring forward. So unless you're actually going to be holding it in that position, I mean, literally playing with the figure and utilizing it, it's really of little good to you. Now here at the waist, you get a full swivel all the way around. At the top of the leg, you get a back and forth in this outward motion. Kind of affects the sculpt a little bit, but not too bad. Now, right above the knee, you get this full swivel all the way around, and a single jointed bend at the knee, which still has a really good, decent amount of range of motion there. I mean, you can definitely still do some great poses with that, especially since you got this at the top of the leg, this outward motion. You can do a lot of cool kicks, a lot of cool poses that way, if you like to set up dioramas and whatnot. Right here at the ankle, you get this bend. Go a little bit backward and about that much forward. Not too much on the forward side, just due to the sculpt a little bit when it hits the top of the boot right there. Look at the cape on the back. The cape is made out of this pliable sort of rubber plastic, and it doesn't really seem to hinder the range of motion too bad. But it's got this really cool draped look, and I really prefer capes that look like this already with this pliable rubber than the fabric, because sometimes with the fabrics they can get a little bit in the way, or they can look a little goofy. That they get that triangular shape that you can't really mess with it too much to make it look any better. A little difficult to get this figure to stand at times, so I've had trouble getting it to balance on a little bit, but it's kind of a little bit of work. Having a little bit of difficulty right now. There. Yeah, so the articulation is not too bad. A little limited in the shoulder area, but overall still pretty cool. You can still get some decently dynamic poses, and overall, yeah, it's not too bad.
In terms of articulation for the figure, there are only a few areas that I could ask for more. Firstly, that shoulder area. With the amount of hindrance those armor pieces cause the range of motion in the shoulder, there has to be a better way. As a smaller request for enhancements to articulation, I would have liked to see a bend in the wrist to help Batman find some even more dynamic posing for display. Another thing that will help posing in display is ankle rockers, ankle pivots, whatever you would want to call them. They're almost necessary today, especially when a display stand for the figure itself is not included. As far as the sculpt goes, nothing has changed from the previous rendition, and I'm okay with that for the most part. I love the broad-shouldered look of this figure, and I'm still very happy with the way the capes are made. On a larger scale, like say Hot Toys, I would prefer for the cape to be made of some sort of fabric. But here in 6-inch scale, I have no problem with the pliable rubber type plastic. You don't have to fuss with how the cape drapes, and it already comes perfectly sculpted with the look of what you would have had in mind, but never could from fabric capes. There are a few areas that I think the sculpt work needs some adjusting though. The first one being the neck. It just looks way too skinny. It doesn't match the body or the head. In a comparison of size, it looks like to be about as wide around as Batman's ankle. I mean, is your neck the size of your ankle? Think about it, that's weird. The other area I think the sculpt work could use a change is above the neck, and that is the face. It seems like forever we've been seeing this same expression on Movie Master's Batman figures. The problem is, it really has no emotion. I don't feel like this look is expressing anything to me. He's not sad, he's not angry, he's not happy. What is it? Is he comfortable? I would have thought by now we would have gotten a more aggressive, teeth-baring expression. At some point, there has to be a facial expression tough as Batman's voice. Overall, the likeness is still good. And yes, it does have a few areas that it could improve upon, but the figure does offer a good amount of articulation that can pull off some really cool dynamic poses. So if this figure finds its way onto your shelf for display, you'll have no problem creating a unique scene with it. Although we've seen this figure before, and now with a few minor changes, Mattel was smart enough in providing you with the additional incentive for purchasing it, the collect and connect piece for the bat signal. I'm pretty sure we've all been waiting quite a while for a bat signal, and so if the small changes in the figure don't necessarily drive you to buy this one, I'm sure the bat signal piece just might. Overall, I believe this is a figure worth picking up. If not for the figure itself, then definitely for the collect and connect bat signal piece. You can find these in your local retail stores starting on May 27th, 2012. For more great toy reviews, subscribe to us here on YouTube, and be sure to check out our other Dark Knight Rises figure reviews. For WayCoolNews.net, I'm Mark, and this has been another Way Cool Review.